One of the biggest misconceptions about AI is that experienced professionals use it to replace expertise. I don't believe that's true. I think that when used properly, professionals use AI for something much more practical, getting a second set of eyes on our work before it goes to the client. So right now I'm working on a project for a large financial firm where I'm serving as the subject matter expert for an Excel training initiative. Now, this project includes an e-learning course and 2 live instructor-led training sessions. The training content for these courses are specifically designed for new professionals who are entering the professional world. Now, because I have personally been teaching Excel for decades, I did not use AI to create the strategy or direction of the training. I already understand how professionals actually learn Excel. I understand which Excel skills matter in real-world corporate environments. I understand the common mistakes that new professionals make. And I have worked for several large financial institutions in the past. I understand the expectations that these organizations often have around spreadsheet accuracy, efficiency, and professionalism. I also have enough experience designing corporate learning programs to know how to tailor the trainings that I develop to a specific audience rather than creating a generic Excel basics course with the help of AI. So when I began developing this course outline in storyboard, I relied primarily on my own expertise. But that doesn't mean that I didn't use AI and I didn't find AI helpful. Before I sent the materials to the development team to actually develop the courses, I used Microsoft Copilot in a very different way. Not to create the training, but to critique it. Now, I used Copilot, I'm a big Copilot fan because it's integrated into the Microsoft suite. However, you can use the AI tool of your choice to do this. So just a little backstory of what this storyboard is that I mentioned. In this circumstance, I'm a subject matter expert and I'm responsible for creating the storyboard for these classes. And if you're not familiar with the term, a storyboard basically gives a detailed structure of the learning. It gives all of the topics and the sequencing, the learning objectives, the activities, any examples that align with any of the content, along with any potential interactions, assessment, or guidance to future facilitators. So I develop the storyboard in this case as the subject matter expert, and I give it to a development team who actually builds the training experience. So I send it over and I try to, of course, make it as clear and final as I can, because over time, revisions become much more time consuming. Now, this is where my AI help really comes in, because I like to pressure test my thinking before I send it over to the development team for production and then inevitably to the client for review. I feel like when you use these AI tools correctly, it can simulate perspectives that at least myself as a freelancer, a solopreneur, does not always have access to in real time, because I do a lot of this work independently. And sometimes I'd like a second opinion. And that's where AI really comes in handy, because I can use AI's expertise while building this Excel training. I can get feedback from various perspectives, whether that be a stakeholder at the financial firm, a corporate training leader at the company, someone who is a stakeholder at the company who's really concerned about onboarding effectiveness for this Excel program, or even someone who's thinking about various business risks or implementation challenges that may be associated with this particular training. So when I worked in a traditional corporate environment, I was able to get this feedback from a training manager, a project sponsor, a senior stakeholder, or a learning consultant. But again, now that I'm in this freelance solopreneur position, I'm working more independently, and I don't always have access to these people all the time. So AI can really help to fill a part of that gap, because it helps me to stress test my work before it inevitably reaches the client. And I can say I've been using this practice overall, not just on this project, but on other projects over the last couple of years. And it really, really, really helps me out. It's helped me to get some really spectacular results. So I'm very thankful for the AI tools in this case. Now, the important distinction that I want to make is I am not asking AI to replace my expertise. My expertise has value here. I know that it does, and I know that I understand this content. But I'm not saying that I don't have blind spots. Of course I do. We all do. And in this case, I'm asking AI to challenge my blind spots. And that is why this may be a different use case than you've heard some other experts talk about when they talk about AI. So after developing my outline and storyboard draft, I prompted Copilot with something similar to this. Evaluate this Excel training outline as though you are a stakeholder responsible for training and onboarding new professionals at a large U.S. financial firm. Identify any weaknesses, missing skills, sequencing issues, unrealistic assumptions, learner gaps, or areas where the training may fail to meet business needs. Consider the expectations of finance professionals who rely heavily on Excel for accuracy, efficiency, reporting, and data analysis. Provide candid feedback and recommendations for improvement. And then I obviously uploaded my document underneath the prompt and ran it. The feedback that I got was incredibly useful. And I've got to say that, again, having done this many times over the last couple of years, as long as my prompt is properly worded, it's always been incredibly useful to me. Copilot points out areas where some topics assumed prior Excel knowledge, or certain concepts needed additional practice. It also really helped me with timing and sequencing, as far as a second opinion on what should maybe take a little less time or a little bit more time. Now, I've got to say, where it really, really shined for me in this case, and then in other cases, is in the specifics of the industry. I am an Excel expert, but I am not a finance expert. So the AI tool was able to give me more finance specific examples that really were relevant to the audience who would inevitably consume this training. It really, really helped me. It was like having a finance specialist who also knew Excel and learning design at my fingertips. So again, overall, the experience of the feedback that the AI tool gave me was very valuable. Now, with that said, not every suggestion was correct. Not every recommendation that the AI tool made it into the final version. Because again, I consider myself the expert here and the AI tool as my assistant. I inevitably make the final decisions on the content. But several of the observations from the AI tool did help me strengthen the training before the client or the development team ever saw it. And that matters because as experienced freelancers and solopreneurs know, the best revisions are the ones you make before the client requests them. It makes you look like a rock star. So I really do recommend this approach for freelancers who don't have internal review teams or peer reviewers or dedicated quality assurance staff. And even if you do, I still think that this can be helpful for you because you can unintentionally develop blind spots simply because you're too close to the project. Sometimes we need to go out of the box to be able to get the best view. So use the AI tool as a critique partner to do a review that can help you catch the gaps earlier, improve the clarity of your work, strengthen the deliverables that you're inevitably going to give to your client. I feel like it helps you to anticipate stakeholder concerns and allows you to refine your messaging and inevitably reduce revision cycles and make the client happy earlier. So this is really less about automation than it is about quality control. And it's one of the most valuable professional uses of AI that I have found. Now, I have 5 sample prompts that you can use to help you get started. There's this first one here that would help you evaluate training content. Now, I understand that for all of you, you may not be dealing with training content. I think you can easily tweak it to align to the content that you want. Then I have one here for critiquing a proposal. This one is really helpful when you're sending a proposal off to a client or a potential client. Another real helpful one is to review a presentation for you. This is great whether you're creating a presentation for a client or giving a presentation to a client. Either way, it helps you out. Now, you can also have it do things like assess websites or portfolios or any other asset that you're presenting to the client. This one's geared towards websites and portfolios, but obviously you can align it in any way that you want. And then the last example that I'm giving is stress testing a course or a workshop, or replace course or workshop with whatever your deliverable is. Now, I have made these available in a downloaded format for you. It's, absolutely 100% free. You can find the link to get those if you're interested down in the comments. Just select it and you'll be able to get that rather than try to capture it from this video, which I know is sometimes a little hard to do. So in conclusion, I feel like the freelancers who get the most value from AI are not always the ones who are trying to hand over all of the thinking to AI. In fact, I think that I've seen a lack of success in those circumstances because we want our authentic selves to shine through. Now, of course, we want to use the technologies that are available to us, and AI isn't going anywhere. But we do have to make sure that our authentic selves shine through. We have value, and that value will shine when used in conjunction with the AI tools. Inevitably, there are assistants. So I've explained how I often use AI tools like Copilot in projects like I did for this Excel initiative. I still build the strategy, I still make the decisions, I still rely on my decades of experience, but having the AI tool critique my work before it reaches the client is like having that fast on-demand review partner available whenever I need one. And in the freelance world, that extra layer of quality control can make a real difference in building a successful, thriving business for yourself. Take care until next time. See you then.